So we're in Columbus, Georgia, in what has traditionally been called Bibb City, and that is part of now a larger project called the Mill District. It encompasses 4 historic Mill Village neighborhoods that really were built up during the early 1900s, late 1800s. There were businesses that were built in the area, many of which were dry cleaners, gas stations, service stations, things like that. Since that time, when they were first developed, the land uses have changed, and now, in a lot of cases, we're dealing with brownfield sites.
So this site is called the Chase Home site, and what it was 108 units of public housing that was built in the 40s. As most houses and communities back then, they didn't really look at environmental factors. So this site, it had a lot of environmental issues.
Terracon worked with the City of Columbus to write a Brownfield Assessment Grant. It was awarded in 2017, and Terracon worked with the City of Columbus to complete Phase 1 and Phase 2 environmental site assessments, community engagement activities, cleanup plans, and also working with private investors.
And that funding is being used to revitalize the site. And Terracon was a huge assistance when it came to identifying any environmental contamination that was on this site.
Our role on this site, we provided the environmental site assessment for the Department of Community Affairs submittal.
After reviewing the need for community reinvestment within this area, Terracon worked with the City of Columbus to identify potential brownfield sites and also look for additional funding that may be needed to support this effort.
Brownfield redevelopment is important for the City of Columbus. It helps us to literally bridge the gap between an underdeveloped property and the anticipated outcome of what we think a property can be. One of the ways Terracon has been able to help us bridge that gap is by mitigating the risk associated with real estate redevelopment.
In a lot of cases, when it comes to historic properties, investing in these areas that have brownfield sites that need to be redeveloped, it's hard to encourage private investors to invest in those properties because there are so many unknowns. And being able to have access to that grant made it much more palatable for a private investor like myself to come in and purchase a piece of property.
The new development is going to be a catalyst for this community because it's going to contain 102 units of mixed income housing. It'll contain a community center, a health center, and being able to put something this wonderful in an area like this and connect it with all the other amazing things that are going on in the Mill District is just extremely important, and it's going to provide a great asset for the residents of Columbus and for the community as a whole.